for
Weed?
Yeah, he was here earlier, but
Constantine.
he had to leave.
Sure, yeah.
And they also smoke a weed.
I was going to say good afternoon, but I guess it's good evening. Thank you. The issue in front of us today, I break it down into three main issues. The first, which was talked about quite a bit, was any potential federal intervention. The second surrounded the substance itself, and the third, I think, is most importantly, which are the moral issues. First thing I want to deal with, and I'll be very brief, is any federal intervention seems somewhat contradictory in the face of Judge Francis Young's decision from 1988. He oversaw a study concerning safety and so forth, and this is a DEA judge. He did say marijuana in its natural form is one of the safest therapeutically active substances known to man. By any measure of rational analysis, marijuana can be safely used within a supervised routine of medical care. Won't read the whole thing, going to turn that in. That's from the DEA judge back then. Guess he had a conscience.
He said medical care, right?
Yep. This is United States patent number 6,630,507. It was issued for the cannabinoid, antioxidant, and neuroprotectant properties that's found in marijuana or cannabis. I'm going to submit that. If you guys were here last year, you probably saw this gentleman here, Irv Rosenfeld. The federal government, under the Compassionate Investigational Drug Program, for almost 30 years, has been providing him with cannabis, marijuana, about 9 ounces a month. He medicated in the smoking room outside the cafeteria just last year. There was a news conference. So I think there's a great contradiction when we say, oh, the feds, there's a patent. One of the studies 30 years ago, when they did it, their judge said, hey, you know, this isn't going to harm anyone. And this gentleman here has provided cannabis by the federal government. As far as the substance itself, well, there's a lot of outdated information that got floated out there today. In 2012, January 10th, in the Journal of the American Medical Association, they published a report that cannabis does not cause cancer for smoking. You don't have to smoke it, you can ingest it in lots of ways. Also, in the Yale Archives of Internal Medicine in 2007, they found cannabis smoke exposure is not associated with airflow obstruction or emphysema. Right around that time, I'm not sure exactly, but in previous years I've handed in information, I could get it from any one of you. There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Donald Tashkin. He's a pulmonologist. The federal government used to like to use his studies when his studies indicated that maybe marijuana had something bad about it. But his latest study, he said, what we found instead was no association at all, and even a suggestion of some positive effect. That's with smoking it. But I would remind you that cannabis can be eaten, it can be vaporized, it can be applied in medical tinctures. As far as the gateway effect, boy, I'm really getting tired of that one. UNH, University of New Hampshire, they released a study within the last 2 years indicating no effect. University of Pittsburgh also. Let's go to something else, and I won't belabor it. Other people mentioned cannabis as a safer alternative. Well, the U.S. Surgeon General's report indicates that tobacco kills about 435,000 people a year. Alcohol, which the state sells close to 600 million now, kills about 85. As you go all the way down, cannabis, 0. I'm going to submit that. Who endorses some form of legalization? American Medical Association, the Nurses Association.
That's medical, right?
Right, but I'm going to get to the last issue. I think it's a real big moral issue. I think this gentleman owns his body. I think that lady owns her body. And I know damn well I own mine. And I'm getting sick and tired of people telling me that they own it. You, sir, asked a question about human bondage. Was putting a person in jail for engaging in behavior that doesn't help anyone at all a kind of human bondage? I know an awful lot about this subject and what can happen. I did go to jail for possession in New Hampshire, probably because I'm outspoken, because I dared to go to trial and all the rest of that stuff. So I'd be happy to take any questions. Yes, sir.
Representative Robinson.
Is it possible that if they could testify, a drug dealer might be against legalization? Because when the average customer finds out the lies he's been told about the marijuana turn out to be lies, and so he can say, well, you believed it was addictive and it was gonna do all these things? Trust me, cocaine and heroin is the same, and it's a lot easier to smuggle in here.
I'll try to answer your question this way, sir. And I think that we all have vested self-interest in things. Somebody who's benefiting from selling a substance, whether it's good or bad, may not want to see that change. Just like somebody may not, who gets a paycheck from enforcing prohibition, may not want to see that change. Coincidentally, a lot of those people testified to that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Representative Valencourt.
Again, I'd like to take advantage of your expertise because you've helped in a couple of areas of shooting down some of the smoke that I think I've heard. I've been reading a lot lately about mental illness. Marijuana will make you go crazy. And then we blithely heard one of the police officers refer to that again in his testimony today. Can you enlighten us as to marijuana leading to mental illness?
Well, I think some people have a predisposition to that, and so it might be the cart before the horse. If somebody, I don't think that cannabis as a substance causes these things. I think if somebody is predisposed to that, it's possible that it may ignite that, just like a trauma in their life might, just like drinking, just like, hey, I didn't have my coffee this morning, so I'm a little angry or upset this morning. But I don't think that it directly leads to that at all.
Thank you, that's exactly what I read.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I'll hand in some information.
Thank you. You give it to the clerk.
I'm not that
Sure.
speedy.
Ryan Blackman.